Alright, today we're going to be talking about the Salomon Phantasm 2 SLABs. Before we jump into this review, I just want to let you know that I'm not affiliated with Salomon in any way. I used to be an ambassador for them about 4 years ago, but I have no affiliation with them anymore. I bought these shoes with my own money, and I just wanted to review these shoes to give anyone out there a better idea of whether or not these shoes are right for them. And before we get even further into this, I need to let you know that I've never run in any other carbon plated shoe. So I don't really have anything to compare it to outside of other road running shoes. So just keep that in mind that I am new to the carbon scene, and given that, I just wanted to give my perspective as a person that recently tried carbon shoes. And as far as Salomon goes, they're really not known for their road shoes. I mean, they have a bigger and better brand reputation when it comes to trail running, but with road running, they're up and coming, let's just put it that way. And this, as far as I know, these shoes were their first attempt at creating a road racing shoe and their first carbon plated road shoe. And so the question is, did they do a good job? And coming in at $250, these things are not cheap. They are priced up there with all the other premium racing shoes. And so I hope today that I can tell you whether or not these shoes are worth that kind of money. So let's jump into it with the fit and sizing. As far as fit and sizing, the length and the width, I'm usually a size 9. I ordered a size 9 in these and they were spot on. I would not complain at all in terms of length. In terms of width and the rest of the sizing here, they're narrow here in the heel, and as they get closer to the toe box, they definitely open up a little bit. If you've ever run in Salomon shoes before, you know that they tend to run narrow, especially their SLABs. SLAB shoes are unisex, which means they're going to be a little bit more narrow. These shoes were a bit more on the average side in terms of toe box here. They're definitely not an Ultra or a Topo or any of these wide toe box shoes. But when I ordered these, I was expecting them to be tight like most other Salomon toe boxes are, but they were not. They were very average in terms of width here. So what I'm trying to say is they're not as tight as you might expect being a Salomon SLAB, but they're definitely not wide shoes. If you're looking for a wide toe box, try Ultras or someone else. In terms of weight, these shoes come in at 7.7 ounces, which is incredibly light. And as soon as you put these on your feet, you will feel that. You will feel nothing. They are so feather light. And in order to hit that weight, they've really cut back on the material here. So let's start here at the bottom and talk about the outsole. In terms of outsole, they have the Salomon Conta grip here, which is Salomon's grip that's supposed to give you extra traction on the road. And I actually really liked this traction. It was good on the track, it was good on the road. It is very thin though. Like I said, they had to cut back on a lot of material, and so the rubber here, there's not very much here. And when I first got them, I was worried about durability. Even though I know that these are race shoes, you kind of want them to last. And I ran in these for my speed work and on a couple long tempo runs, and then I wore them on race day. So I have probably around 50 miles in these shoes, and they are showing almost no wear and tear in terms of the outsole here, in terms of the rubber. And so if I were to guess, looking at the rubber, how much longer they'd last, I'd say that I could train for another marathon in these, doing some speed work, some track workouts, and maybe a long tempo run or two, and then run another race in these, and that would be perfectly fine, which is awesome. I was really worried that these would be like a one race and then done kind of shoe, but I think that you could definitely get 2 full races, 2 full training cycles out of these, understanding that they're not an everyday trainer. These are not an everyday trainer. So moving on to the midsole here, these shoes have a stack height in the heel of 39 millimeters and down to 30 millimeters in the front, giving you a drop of 9 millimeters, which is substantial. These are a substantial cushion shoe. 39 millimeters in the heel, that's a lot. I mean, they're not a maximal shoe. There are shoes with much more cushioning than this, but these are far from a minimalist. These are definitely on the higher end of cushion, and that it has a big drop. So just take that into consideration. But the midsole here is made out of this material. It's called PEBA. I think someone has called it PEBA before. But anyways, this cushion material is supposed to be incredibly light and incredibly responsive. It's supposed to give you an insane amount of energy return, and it does. Like, I can't say enough about how incredibly responsive this material is, like how much propulsion you're getting from these shoes. I mean, when you put them on, they're so springy that they don't really feel stable. In fact, a good chunk of my speed work was done on a track, and on the curves of the track, you're really pushing a lot on your shoes to keep your momentum going on that curve. You're really pushing on these shoes, and I could feel the instability in these shoes. But you know, I don't think very many people are looking at this shoe for a track race. But I just wanted to share that in case anyone was wondering how they felt on the curves of a track. They do feel a little unstable. But on like a normal road run or on my race, I was never turning that kind of curve for that amount of time, and so I never really felt that instability really phasing me at all in any other kind of workout. It's just for a track workout, and so I just wanted to bring that up in case anyone was wondering. But what I'm trying to say is that the midsole propulsion on this is absolutely incredible, and you will feel it. And when I say you'll feel it, not only will you feel it in terms of like how fast you're going, but also your muscles. I was incredibly sore after a couple of my speed workouts and tempo runs, and especially after my race, in my calves. And I can only assume that it's because of the propulsion that I am getting as I push off from these shoes. I don't know if everyone's going to be sore in their calves, but I assume that anyone that tries out a carbon-plated shoe that's not used to running in a carbon-plated shoe is going to feel muscle soreness and muscle strain on different muscles because of this extreme amount of energy return that you're getting from these shoes. Moving on to the upper. The upper is so minimalist, and they had to take away so much material here in order to cut weight. When I pulled them out of the box, I was a little worried that these were going to be too little material and that it wouldn't provide the security and the durability that I wanted. But after running in these and after racing in these, I had nothing to worry about. The heel here has some rigidity to it, which I really liked. It really helped me feel secure here in the back. And all the way through the lacing system, the tongue provided just enough of a buffer in between the laces and your foot that there was no weird pressure points or chafing. There was no rubbing or anything. The breathability on these were unbelievable, so perfect. Like, I have no complaints when it comes to the upper on these shoes. They were absolutely fantastic. Moving on to the most subjective part of this review, which would be the looks. I think these shoes look awesome. And, you know, I really like the red and the white, and just so you know, this is very see-through, so whatever color sock you're wearing, you're gonna see it through there. But all that to say, I think this shoe looked awesome, and it was fun to show up on race day surrounded by everyone else wearing Nike Alpha Flies, and I was wearing these. I stuck out, and maybe that's saying a little bit about my personality, that I like to stick out, but it was fun to show up wearing something unique. I just thought these looked awesome, and they looked fast. So that's my subjective opinion on the looks. But moving now to my overall thoughts on this shoe. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be a little bit biased because I was able to run the St. George Marathon in 2 hours, 48 minutes, 12 seconds, which is a time that I honestly did not think that I would ever be able to hit. I had a goal of breaking a PR for 11 years, and I was unable to break that record until now. And I attribute at least part of that success to these shoes. I know there was a lot of other, hard work and effort and nutrition and everything else that went into that, but the gear that I wore did not fail me. And so I absolutely love these shoes. I have no complaints, no issues. However, there are two pieces of feedback. The first one, I hesitate to even give because it doesn't really make sense given that these are a race shoe, but I would maybe like to see a little bit of more stability when it comes to these shoes. Like, they feel a little unstable in certain situations. Like, you could be prone to roll an ankle, but maybe that instability is just what comes with a shoe like this. Incredibly springy, giving you the propulsion and the energy return that you need to run fast. So I hesitate to even say that I want more stability because I don't know if I really do, but they don't feel stable. Just keep that in mind. But my second bit of feedback is a little bit more serious, and that would be the price. I have a really hard time recommending a $250 shoe to someone, given that it's really only a race shoe. Like, do your speed work and maybe a few tempo runs in this, but outside of that, it's really only meant for race day. All I'm trying to say is that these shoes are not necessary. These shoes are something that will take you to the next level. If you're looking for a shoe to run your first marathon or to train from day one through race day, these are not the shoe for you. With that said, if you have the money and you really want to hit that next level, you really want to hit that record, that time that you're shooting for, and you're thinking about this shoe, just get it. These shoes are absolutely fantastic. You will have no regrets. I absolutely love them, but like I said, they're not necessary. And I don't want someone that's just getting into running to look at this and think, I need to get these shoes in order to run a marathon, because you don't. There are a lot of shoes that are half the price that will do just as good of a job for your first marathon. So anyways, I hope this review was helpful for you to decide whether or not this shoe was right for you. If it was helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, stick around, and I'll catch you in the next video.